Good morning, I'm SteveKuzj. We're live in San Diego at the naval base where a disaster is unfolding. One of the warships has caught fire after an explosion rocked the vessel. Policy experts are calling this deadly U.S. airstrike on a top Iranian commander the most significant act of military aggression since the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq all the way back in 2003.
The latest front of the fire, we're coming to you guys live right now. You can see the flames lapping up against the backyards of these homes. And right now the fire is just climbing up this hillside.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
We're just doing our job.
Thank you so much.
Now, according to new reports, the second whistleblower has what the first lacked: direct first-hand knowledge of this situation.
We're out here blocking the streets. What do you think this is going to accomplish?
I think we're shutting down business as usual.
Protesters have blocked the front of the police station. He was walking the streets and two gang unit task force members approached him. There was some kind of a struggle, and then that's when all this happened.
My brother was a good guy, and he did not deserve to die like an animal.
Because of the urgency of this hurricane situation, there's lines for everything now here in Florida. There's lines for gas, there's lines for water. This here, a 2-hour wait for sandbags. The National Weather Service says Hurricane Irma spawned a tornado here in Palm Bay that ripped this home's roof clean off. You want to know where that roof is now? Right over there across the street. I can tell everybody watching right now this is an extremely dangerous and urgent situation. We have one Pomona police officer down. Neighbors in this area told us they heard a flurry of gunshots. This is a city this morning on lockdown. You see, you've got the National Guard out here this morning just trying to keep the peace. It wasn't until these guys were actually called in late last night that things started to get under control. I want to just point these out. You can see right here a 40-millimeter rubber bullet round. This is what officers were firing into crowds. 7 of those crew have now tested positive for the coronavirus. And I know that might not sound like a lot, but remember, the coronavirus is extremely contagious. So there's a good chance that a number of these people on board this ship could have the virus, but not know it yet. Personally, how do I feel behind the wheel of the Solo, this tiny little car? Not a lot of room here. When Mother Nature strikes, it takes more than just manpower to clean it up. It takes vehicle power, and a whole lot of it.
All right, here we go.
This Gulf is as deadly as it is beautiful. Countless ships have found their graves at its bottom.
Accusations of racial discrimination by an Airbnb host in Running Springs is generating a lot of buzz on social media.
A woman says her reservation was canceled moments before her arrival because she is Asian. SteveKuzj live with details tonight. Steve?
Guys, this story has absolutely blown up all over social media just a single day after we posted it. There's a good chance you guys watching at home, if you've checked your Facebook feeds, you may have even seen this story. A woman trying to stay at a house for rent in Running Springs, but apparently she gets blocked because she's Asian and is racially discriminated against. The renter who blocked her cited President Trump as a reason to discriminate.
She canceled the trip and she said, one word says it all, Asian. And she canceled on us when we were 3 minutes away from the house. We're 3 minutes away. I just feel so hurt.
The pain in Diane Suh's words is unmistakable. Right after she and her friends' Airbnb stay in the town of Running Springs was unexpectedly canceled by the homeowner who blamed Diane's race.
We can't have foreigners telling us what to do. She said that to me. I'm an American citizen. This is my home.
We met Diane by chance while covering severe weather up in the mountains near Running Springs, where she and her friends had just learned they were stuck with no place to go. I posted the emotional story Diane poured out to me on social media. Within days, it went viral, reaching millions of people sympathetic to her discrimination.
People can't hide from the truth when people come out in tears.
Diane booked the rental a month in advance for her and 3 friends, but apparently there was a miscommunication over how many people would be staying at the house. When Diane texted the home's host to clarify, the woman accused her of being a con artist and canceled her stay.
That's when she said, one word says it all, Asians want something for nothing. I just froze when I read that. My heart just sank.
When Diane told the host she would report her to Airbnb for her comments, the host followed up with, "It's why we have Trump," invoking the president.
For me, personally, to now have someone say something racist to me and say it's because of Trump, it was my worst fears coming true, that people who held these racist beliefs felt emboldened.
The host that texted those messages to Dine had no comment for us when we contacted her. Airbnb says they have now permanently banned her.
If this is my experience as a light-skinned Asian woman, what is it like for people who have darker skin than me or are Muslim? What is it like for people who are undocumented or not U.S. citizens yet?
Now, Airbnb released a statement in regards to this issue saying that they do not condone discrimination in any way, and this played in part to the reason why they have permanently banned this user forever from using their platform once again. Dine says she's received an incredible amount of support online from so many different people, and she hopes this might encourage other people and potential victims of racism to come forward if this ever happens to them.
KTLA's SteveKuzj shows us the dangers posed by the frigid, fast-moving water. It says there are still ways to navigate it safely.
It roars like a locomotive, rushing along its path, building power as its banks narrow and its level rises, creating a churning motion, turning clear to white. This is California's Kern River.
60 miles of runnable water. It's definitely an element to respect.
From fishing to swimming to rafting.
This river has something for everybody.
And this year, the thrills have reached near record levels.
Biggest water in, 25 or 30 years.
On the road up to the Kern River, a morbid sign greets travelers as a warning. 280 lives lost since 1968. It's why some have nicknamed the river the Killer Kern. And this year has put that name to the test.
We've had over 50 rescues. We're up to 13 drownings and 1 missing.
Images and stories from the Kern only give you part of the picture. To fully experience this river, you gotta go on it.
Everyone has a life jacket and a helmet.
We push out into tumultuous conditions with a group from Whitewater Voyages, one of the most experienced crews in the Kernville area.
You should go with someone that knows what they're doing. We've been doing this for a long time.
2,200 cubic feet of water per second shuttles us down the river. Our whitewater guide steers the raft around massive rocks as they shout commands.
Forward,
Arushi Chokshi, along with her mother, father, and brother, join us from Irvine. They've had family adventures before, but not like this.
It's just like a fun roller coaster. It's really fun because you're going really fast.
But no matter how much experience you have, the Kern can catch even the best by surprise. 12-year-old Arushi's raft catches a rock in the middle of a Class 4 rapid. In an instant, Arushi, her mother, her father, and one of their guides are thrown into the violent, swirling water. Our boat springs into action, paddling hard to reach the distressed group as the current carries them away.
In my mind, I was thinking, don't panic, just try and get back into the boat.
Thankfully, everyone was all right. There is no need to call for search and rescue, but others have.
We did one the night before last. 2 guys were in a swimming pool type boat, fell out of it without a life jacket and ended up hanging onto a rock.
So what's the difference between all of the victims and us? Well, for the 13 people who've died on the Kern this year, officials say they didn't have floating life jackets on or weren't wearing them properly.
If you're not careful and you get swept downstream and you're not wearing a life jacket at the very least, things can happen.
If you wear a life jacket, you have a 99.9% chance of surviving.
Thousands of people use the river safely every day. And with common sense and good judgment, the people that call the Kern home will tell you the river can provide enjoyment to friends, families, and adventurers of all ages.
The river has kind of an ability to just breathe new life into folks. It's a wonderful experience.
At the Kern River, I'm SteveKuzj, KTLA 5 News.